These arrests on DaBaby have been kept silent from social media for many different reasons. These arrests can sentence DaBaby to near life in prison if convicted. Now we need to talk about this, so let's get straight into it. Now DaBaby's name in the media has been getting absolutely ruined. Now with everyone going after DaBaby for things that he said at his last concert a few months ago, people have now found out about his previous court cases that are almost ready now to go to trial. Now these cases, they start on January 7th. Rapper DaBaby and his entourage were out shopping at a Montclair. When at the cash register and getting ready to pay for these goods, DaBaby went to grab his wallet out of his pocket and in the process ended up revealing a firearm that he had tucked into his waistband. Now DaBaby has had an ongoing issue with holding illegal firearms, and due to him being arrested for it multiple times, he is no longer allowed to get a firearm license or even to be holding one, which means that this is definitely an illegal firearm that he should not have. Now the Montclair worker at the register actually ended up noticing the firearm that was tucked into his waistband, and he ended up taking action on it when DaBaby left the store. The worker ended up calling law enforcement, claiming that a man at his store had a firearm tucked in his waistband and is now exiting the store going into his vehicle. Law enforcement quickly rushed over to the shopping center and ended up surrounding DaBaby's vehicle when exiting the parking lot. Law enforcement ended up bringing out everything they had. They brought out canine units, multiple squad cars, and pretty much all you can imagine. They ended up doing a heavy search throughout DaBaby's vehicle. They found a firearm that was in the side pocket of his vehicle, and it was the same side that DaBaby was sitting on in the vehicle. Once found, DaBaby was then arrested on site, as him holding illegal firearms, as I said, has been an ongoing issue for him. Once being arrested, DaBaby was brought into jail. He was later released on bond the next day and was told to not get into any trouble whatsoever, or else he'll be sitting in jail until his trial begins. Luckily, DaBaby has kept clean since then, but his trial is about to start. And due to his previous court cases, DaBaby was told to never illegally hold a firearm again by a judge, or else he'll be doing prison time. As on November 5th in 2018, at around 6:30 p.m. in a Huntersville Walmart, rapper DaBaby was with his baby mama and children ages 1 and 5 at the time. When shopping inside of the Walmart, a man that was allegedly under the influence ended up walking inside holding a firearm. When inside, he ended up going to the center of the Walmart. He was flashing the firearm in the air. The man started screaming and was scaring all of the customers. This is when DaBaby ends up pulling out his firearm that was illegal once again. He creeps up on the man and ends up actually dealing with the situation before it got out of hand. You could probably understand at what I mean when I say DaBaby handled the situation. So DaBaby spoke on this situation later on Instagram. His lawyers told him not to talk about it online, but DaBaby said he didn't care. DaBaby shared on Instagram saying, and I quote, "I'm not going to let anyone get the chance of getting near my family, so I had to do what I had to do." Now at the time, DaBaby once again did not have a firearm license. This means that he was holding it illegally in court. DaBaby was obviously thanked by many for being a hero in that situation. But just because he was a hero and saved the day for many people inside that Walmart, it doesn't mean that he's just off the hook for holding an illegal firearm and using it. DaBaby was sentenced to 1 year in probation, and he was told to never hold a firearm again. Now obviously that has all changed when at the Montclair store he was caught by one from a store worker, as well as surveillance footage inside of the store. DaBaby hasn't had the best name in social media as of late either. From his words at a recent festival to other opinions that he shares online, a lot of people digged into his complete criminal record history, and here is actually what was exposed online. Now, at his latest court hearing, the judge spoke to DaBaby about his issues with holding firearms. DaBaby actually ended up saying that he would rather be caught with it than caught without it, as you never know what can happen out in the streets and things in that nature. Now, when looking through the criminal history of DaBaby, they would want to say that DaBaby's first arrest occurred on June 15th in 2013. The Charlotte Police Department allegedly caught DaBaby with narcotics and carrying a concealed firearm. Now, luckily, these were both misdemeanors in North Carolina, but this was only the start of DaBaby's firearm issues. Now, DaBaby's second arrest happened on December 16th in 2013. Now, details are actually kind of scarce on this arrest, but online records show that DaBaby was charged with misdemeanor possession. DaBaby's third arrest was made once again by the police department, but the charges were definitely a little bit more serious than his others, and this is where things really got concerning for him. Now, DaBaby's charge for this arrest was a felony for possession and carrying a concealed firearm once again. DaBaby was taken into jail, and he was later released on $5,000 bond. This was around the start of his music career taking off, which is why he was able to pay the $5,000 so easily. Now, I couldn't find the outcome of this arrest. Let's just hope that the charges were at least reduced down to a misdemeanor, seeing as DaBaby was not taken into prison or even did a jail sentence for this. Then on to DaBaby's fourth arrest. He gets caught with another firearm. DaBaby was arrested in North Carolina. Sources say that DaBaby was performing for his Baby Talk 5 tour. Upon arrival, the police department allegedly caught DaBaby with a firearm that was not registered in his name. You could probably see the trend that is happening here. DaBaby constantly has a firearm on him. Now, the police then proceeded to book DaBaby for one charge of possession of a stolen firearm, as DaBaby claimed it to not be his and that he found it. I don't believe that the police department or the judge in that court case bought his story, which is why they ended up charging him with a stolen firearm rather than him finding it. But with DaBaby's arrest record having a serious issue with a lot of firearms, I could see the judge in his court case sentencing him to around 3 to 5 years in prison, as him carrying any sort of firearm is definitely not the best thing for him. But I'm interested to know what you guys think. If you're new to the channel, make sure you leave a like and don't forget to subscribe. I'm out. Peace.